Have you ever walked past a hotel room door and felt a sudden chill? What if that door was sealed shut, never to be opened again? Today, we're diving into the terrifying mystery of Room 32, a room so infamous that an entire hotel has tried to erase it from existence. Imagine this. You're staying at a historic, luxurious hotel. Everything seems perfect, but late at night, you hear something strange. It's a faint scratching sound, maybe footsteps, coming from the room next door. But when you mention it to the staff, their faces turn pale. They tell you that room has been empty for years. In fact, it doesn't even exist on their floor plan. This isn't just a ghost story. It's what guests have reported for decades at one particular hotel, all centered around the Phantom Room 313. The story begins in the golden age of this grand hotel. Room 313 was just like any other suite, until a series of horrifying incidents turned it into a place of legend. The first recorded event was in the 1930s, involving a wealthy businessman on a solo trip. It cheated in, seemingly in good spirits, but was found deceased the next morning. The official cause was a sudden heart attack, but hotel staff whispered that the look of sheer terror frozen on his face was something unnatural. They said the room felt cold, suffocating, even after his body was removed. Things went quiet for a few years, and the hotel hoped the incident would be forgotten. But the darkness in Room 313 was just getting started. In the late 1940s, a newlywed couple chose the suite for their honeymoon. Their dream trip turned into a nightmare. On their second night, the husband frantically called the front desk, screaming that his wife was talking to someone who wasn't there. He claimed she was staring into a corner of the room, her eyes wide with fear, having a conversation with an unseen entity. By the time staff arrived, the woman was hysterical, cowering under the bed, while the husband was found trying to break the window to escape. The couple checked out immediately, and the woman reportedly suffered a complete psychological breakdown, spending the rest of her life in and out of institutions. She never spoke a coherent word again. The hotel started getting a reputation, but in those days, news traveled slowly. They kept booking the room, hoping for the best. That was a grave mistake. The most infamous incident occurred in the 1960s. A traveling salesman, a jovial and well-liked man, checked into Room 313. He was never seen again. He didn't check out. His luggage, wallet, and all his belongings were still in the room, neatly placid. But the man himself had vanished without a trace. The police conducted a massive investigation, tearing the room apart, but found nothing. No signs of a struggle, no hidden passages. It was as if he had simply ceased to exist within those four walls. After this disappearance, the hotel had no choice. The risk was too great. They made an unprecedented decision. They permanently sealed Room 313. They didn't just lock the door. They removed the numbers, plastered over the doorway, and extended the wallpaper to cover any trace of its existence. On official floor plans, the space is now listed as a storage closet or simply absorbed into the adjoining rooms. To anyone looking, Room 313 never existed. But you can't just wall up a presence like that. That's when the new reports started. Guests in the adjacent rooms, 312 and 314, began to complain. They would hear muffled cries, pacing footsteps, and sometimes Amana's voice whispering desperately from the other side of the wall where there was supposed to be nothing. Some guests even reported their own room doors rattling violently in the middle of the night, or seeing shadowy figures in their peripheral vision. The hotel's official response was always the same. It's the old pipes, the building settling, an overactive imagination. They offered room changes, complimentary meals, anything to quiet the stories. But the staff knew the truth. For years, the hotel management has flatly denied any paranormal activity. Their public stance is that the room was closed for structural renovations that were never completed. They refuse to answer questions and train their staff to deflect any inquiries about Room 313. But why go to such extreme lengths? Why not just renovate it and reopen it? The answer might lie with those who worked there, the ones who saw things that the hotel wanted to keep hidden. Recently, a former employee, who worked as a maintenance manager for over 30 years, decided to speak out anonymously. He said the hotel's cover-up is real, and for good reason. He claims that before the room was sealed, he was one of the last people to go inside. The moment he stepped over the threshold, he He said an overwhelming sense of dread washed over him. The air was thick and heavy, and a low, humming sound seemed to emanate from the walls themselves. He saw something that has haunted him ever since. On the wall opposite the bed, faint, dark handprints were visible, as if someone had been desperately trying to push their way through the plaster. He also mentioned that several maintenance workers refused to go near the room, claiming their tools would malfunction or that they would hear voices calling their names when they were alone. He revealed the most chilling detail of all. After the salesman vanished, the hotel brought in a team of paranormal investigators in secret. According to this former employee, the investigators lasted less than an hour inside room 330. They fled in terror, refusing to take payment, and simply told the hotel manager to burn the room. Their equipment had allegedly captured an electronic voice phenomena, a recording of a clear, disembodied voice saying, "There is no escape." The hotel, fearing a massive scandal and financial ruin, chose to seal the room instead, burying the secret forever. So what's really going on? Is this a genuine haunting? A nexus of supernatural energy tied to a specific location? Some theories suggest the hotel was built on an ancient burial ground, and room 313 is the epicenter of that disturbance. Others believe that the series of tragic events created a kind of psychological imprint on the room, an emotional residue so powerful it can affect anyone who enters. This is sometimes called the stone tape theory, where inanimate objects can store and replay past events, especially traumatic ones. Then there's the conspiracy angle. Could the hotel be covering up something far more mundane, but equally sinister? Perhaps the room has a deadly mold, a carbon monoxide leak, or some other environmental hazard that caused hallucinations and death. Sealing the room would be an easy way to avoid a lawsuit and a public health crisis. Yet, this doesn't fully explain the salesman's disappearance, or the specific, consistent, paranormal claims from so many different people over so many years. We managed to find archival footage from a local news report in the 1950s, a brief segment on the hotel's new wing. In one sweeping shot of the third-floor hallway, you can clearly see the number 313 on the door. We cross-referenced this with the hotel's current online booking system and floor plans. Today, the room numbers on that floor jump directly from 312 to 314. There is no mention, no record, no trace of room 313 anywhere. It has been systematically wiped from history. The mystery of why this specific room is so dangerous remains unsolved. Was it a cursed object left behind by a guest? A portal to another dimension? Or the result of a terrible crime that took place there long before the hotel was even built? The legends continue to grow with each new guest who hears a strange noise in the night. The hotel remains silent, a silent guardian of a secret it wishes would stay buried. What do you think happened in room 313? Is it a genuine supernatural hotspot? A clever urban legend fueled by spooky stories? Or a corporate cover-up of a more tangible danger? The walls of room 313 can't talk, but if you listen closely in the hallway of that old hotel, some say you can still hear the whispers of those who never checked out. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive into one of the most chilling hotel mysteries out there. If you have any theories about room 313, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to read them, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more explorations into the unknown. Stay curious, and maybe think twice the next time you book a hotel room. See you in the next one.